Hi, my name is Aubrey. Welcome back to my channel. And this morning we are going to do some mobility for hips and lower back especially. So get yourself comfortable and let's find our way to the mat. Let's start on our backs and we are going to start with a big good morning stretch. So arms back and reach through your fingertips, reach through your toes. This is one of my favorite things to do in the morning. Feels so good. And then on your next exhale, hug your right knee to your chest and bring your nose to the knee. And release that, coming back into that big good morning stretch. So arms overhead, stretch through the finger and toes. And as you exhale, hug that left knee to the chest and bringing your nose to the knee. And one more time, good morning stretch. Reach, reach, reach. Now bring both knees to the chest and rock a little side to side. Just back and forth. Seeing how your back feels this morning. We're going to place hands on the kneecaps and start to circle the kneecaps out and around, away from each other. And while you're here, I want you to bring your attention to your breath and to the sensation in your body. Just kind of greeting your body in the morning, seeing how it feels. Now cross your right leg over your left leg. And having that left foot just on the floor, we're going to kind of scooch our bum over to the right, kind of scooching the hips to the right, and let the knees fall to the left side. And you can gently place your left hand on that right outer thigh. And I like to look over my right shoulder. Try to keep your right shoulder blade on the floor. And come back to your breath. Remember, especially in the morning, it's so good just to take time to connect with your body. Wake it up a little bit and see how it's doing today. Try the other side. Let's switch. So left leg over the right thigh, and again, kind of scoot your hips to the left side of the mat. As you allow your hips to kind of move, your knees to fall to the right, and look over that left shoulder. And just kind of notice again how the spine feels. An easy stretch, a good morning spinal movement. And as you release, just come back to the center and hug your knees again into the chest. Now we're going to move on to our hands and knees, okay? Make sure your knees are comfortable on the mat and come into a kind of tabletop position. And I always like to press into my fingertips first. Okay, kind of wake up the hands, the wrist. And we're going to start with some cat and cow. So tilting the pelvis forward, lifting the chin. And then as you exhale, kind of rounding the spine and pulling the spine kind of in towards, or I should say rather the belly button in towards the spine. So let's continue with that, where we're going to open the chest. And then I tilt the pelvis back, and it's like this tuck in of my pubic bone, the belly button, and the chin. And then as you open the chest, also think about your shoulder blades moving down your back and hugging the back. And then again, with that exhale, we tilt the pelvis back. And then as we inhale, we allow the pelvis to tilt forward. Now connect the movement with your breath as you inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. The next thing that we're going to do is I'd like you to take your right foot to the outside of your right hand. And you can use your fingertips. Bring your hips forward and try to bring the shoulders down, back, and open up through your chest, letting your right knee kind of track where those right toes are going. And then as you exhale, just kind of stretch that right leg back, moving the hips backwards, and getting a nice little inner thigh, hamstring stretch. Let's move in and out of this pose. So come forward and open. And then exhale, shift the hips back. Inhale, come forward, open the chest, and then exhale, shift the hips back. Again, allow your body to move with each breath. Coming forward. And then as you exhale, shifting back. Now we're going to be looking for 90-degree pose. So I'm going to shimmy my right foot to the left side of my mat and look for a right angle with your knee and your foot. The left foot kind of finds that same angle. I like to line up the shin with the edge of the mat. And so I've got this like 90 degrees with each hip. And then just bring the forearms down towards the mat. Let's take a few breaths here. Allow your hips to get comfortable with the new position. And now flip it over all the way to the other side. So turning your body the opposite way, and again, kind of lining up. Now it's like left hip, left knee, left foot. Okay, I always try to check to right knee and right foot line up with the long side of the mat. And then just gently place your forearms on the floor in front of your left knee. As you breathe, notice what your body's saying to you, what your hips are saying. Okay, so we are going to turn all the way around to face the front of the mat again and find the tabletop position. I'd like you to stick your left foot forward, bring it to the outside of that left hand. I use my fingertips. I like to give myself a little bit of height. I think that's also just kind of like personal preference habit. You can certainly set your palms down, but I like kind of like little like cupcake hands. And as you exhale and move back, shift the hips back, lengthen that left leg. Try to keep your chest open, so space in between your collarbones, looking forward and shifting back. As you inhale, enjoy the space that your belly has to breathe. And as you exhale, allow those hips just to kind of stretch back. Inhale, forward and opening, and exhale, shift back. Wonderful. We're going to lie down on our belly now and place your arms just to the side of the mat at about a 90-degree angle. Bend your left knee, and we're gonna come into a little scorpion pose. So roll to your right side, let your head rest on the mat, and bring that left foot behind you, like a scorpion leg kind of back there, allowing your right arm just to stay grounded. And so this is where I also let my right palm stay on the mat, on the floor. Checking in with the lower back. Breathing into that area of your body. Now try the other side. So remember that left arm is on the floor, the palm is down, and I think of my right leg as like the scorpion leg now. Roll to your left and let the right foot relax on the floor behind you. It doesn't have to touch. And then allow your head and shoulder to rest on the floor. I slightly push myself with my right hand too. I slightly kind of push myself back. But see how it feels. That may be something nice in your body today. You might just be feeling enough sensation where you're at. Now let's set up for a cobra pose. So the first thing I like to do in cobra is take my shoulder blades down the back and kind of hug them to my back. Then I usually engage my thighs and glutes, and I keep all of that engaged as I lift the torso up. So kind of holding the cobra, but feeling the engagement through the glutes, through the thighs, and feeling how the shoulder blades are squeezing, kind of like squeezing your back. It feels really nice. And then just come back to the mat, lower down. Instead of cobra, this time I want you to bring your legs together. Point your toes and take your hands behind your back, trying to interlace the fingers. And then do the same thing. So think shoulder blades down the back, legs and glutes engaged. And then as you exhale, lift the torso and lift the legs up off the mat. So we're feeling this like big back engagement. Good. As you release that pose, push your body back into a child's pose and allow your forehead to maybe rest on the mat. You can also support yourself with your arms forward or along your sides. And just take deep breaths here. Allowing the spine to adjust. Good, now we're gonna sit on the mat. So transition into a seated position with the legs out in front of you. And first, well, sometimes I like to kind of shake out the legs. Sometimes I'll shake it out and just kind of like feel like my muscles hitting the floor. Yeah, especially in the morning, this is so good for your lymphatic system. Yeah. Now, bring the feet together in butterfly pose. I always lengthen the spine first. And then as you fold forward, just remember, like, no expectations. This is the morning, and we are working on nice wake up mobility. So give your body the space to experience without the trap of an expectation. Sometimes I fall into that trap. And then I remind myself that, oh, every day is different. My body is different every day. You can slowly release that butterfly pose. And now we're gonna come into a seated twist. So take your left leg forward and cross your right leg over the left leg. We're gonna twist to the right. I like to use my right hand as like the anchor, kind of keeps me up tall. And that left elbow is kind of like my little, I can only think of the Spanish word, palanca. But I push my left elbow against the outside of my right thigh. A lever, I guess. It's kind of like a lever. I'm pushing that left elbow into my right thigh. And I want to feel the twist of the torso. It's so beautiful to twist. And so I always think about like taking my rib cage and turning it like a cylinder back. Yeah. Let's try the other side. Now your right leg is straight and you can cross that left knee. And we'll twist now to the left. And think about pressing the right elbow now against the outer edge of that left thigh as you press your left thigh gently in towards the elbow. So that way you can turn and rotate. Yeah. Great. We're going to come back onto our back. So lie down slowly. And as you exhale, we're gonna press into the heels and the toes and lift the hips up and back while you raise the arms up and back. So you're coming into a bridge pose, reaching up and back with those arms. A nice bridge pose. And as you inhale, just bring the arms down, the hips down. Try it again. As you exhale, scoop the hips up, arms reach up and back. Press into your toes and into your heels. And then inhale, lower down. Exhale, up and back. And inhale, lower down. Good. Take a moment where you let your knees touch. They fall together. But have your feet nice and wide. I always look to find the edges of my yoga mat with my feet. And actually move your feet slightly away from your bum, slightly forward. And just kind of allowing the knees to fall in towards each other. Take 3 deep breaths. And our last pose here is kind of this thread the needle pose. So I want you to take your right ankle and place it just above the left thigh. Bring your right hand in between the legs, and hands behind the left knee, and just gonna hug in. Try to drop your shoulders down. I always try to drop my chin down as well. You'll start to hopefully feel some sensation in your right glute. So breathe. When I imagine breathing into sensation, I imagine myself really focused on the sensation and kind of like sending my breath to that area of my body so that it can soften and soothe. That's the energy that I'm focused on, is this idea of softening and soothing. When you release your right side, feel free to kind of like shake it out again. Again, this is so good for the morning and our lymph system. So like shake out your legs, shake out your feet, kind of like a dead bug style, you know, like everything comes up and a little like, yeah, a little good little lymph shake. And then try the other side, left ankle, just above that thigh. So we allow external rotation in the right hip. And remember that this is a different hip, so it is a new experience. Remember the expectation. That's where you release attachment to any expectation. And then we can move with joy. When we start every day fresh with a clean slate, then you can move your body with joy and receive life with joy instead of comparison brain. I think we get stuck in comparison brain a lot. So I always try to say, oh, it's a clean slate today. Okay, give yourself one last little like shake. Little shake. Okay, and then stretch again. One more big like good morning stretch. Yeah, legs and arms. Reach back. Ah. Really nice. And you can hug your knees into the chest. Thank you so much for practicing morning mobility for hips and lower back. Again, my name is Aubrey, and I can't wait to see you in the next video.